everybody, I'm Jayma Malney and welcome to day 4 of my extravaganza presentation on specialty paper. Today we're focusing on the ore and pearl papers. So there's the black ore and the copper ore, which have a subtle shine and metallic finish to them. And then there's the white pearl paper, which really has a beautiful pearlescent finish to it. And they are just gorgeous to really make a statement and add some shine to your projects without being as bold as the glitter paper and holographic paper that we covered previously. So today I'm going to show you some ways to really make a statement with these papers, as well as to add them to your projects in more of an understated way to still have that shine and beautiful statement there, but make it a little bit understated. So let's go ahead and get into the projects, and I hope you enjoy.
For these first few projects, I'm using background dies again. I love all of the background dies we carry now because they're such an easy way to make a big statement with the specialty paper. So I'm starting out with the copper ore paper, and this background die actually has little ruffles on the edge, and I cut those off because I wanted to add a couple of layers underneath. So I have the Kraft, which I liked with the copper, but I didn't like it right under the copper. So I added a layer of Vellum, and that softened the Kraft just enough. So I'm adding some vellum leaves that I cut with my Cricut. The ones I end up adding are cut with my Cricut. And then I'm adding this Thanks die cut, which is also cut from pearl and ore paper. I'm using the same technique I've used in my last videos where I added some shimmer brush to the vellum leaves to help them curl. So then I added them on the top and bottom of this Thanks die cut, and I ended up tacking them down just a little bit so that they wouldn't fly all over. And I'll cover those up in the end with some rhinestones. And I added some foam squares to the back of the Thanks to help it stand off the card. And that pretty much finished up this card. It was pretty simple to do. And there we go. So next I'm going to use the black ore and glitter paper, and the glitter paper is really like kind of an afterthought of this, but it still makes such a statement. But that ore and the glitter paper pair really nicely together. I love how this one came together. Now I'm using the hearts background die, and I cut 3 different patterns from it, and I'm inlaying some of those hearts, but I'm going to be creating a shaker card. So I haven't adhered that pearl paper yet. I just have it placed down so that I know where to place the hearts. And so I'm gluing the hearts down, and then I'll lift up this top piece, and I'm putting foam tape all around the perimeter. I have so much of these shaker foam pieces left over that I used those, and I cut them each in half and lined them around the whole perimeter. It took a little bit of time, but I think it was worth it to use all of these little pieces. And then I added a few pieces also kind of in the middle so that all of the shaker bits, all those sequins, didn't just fall to the bottom. They have something to kind of catch them. When I added the lid on, which has the acetate on it as well, I spread the sequins out to where I knew those center foam pieces wouldn't land on them. So now we are going to use some die cuts as a focal point in our cards. And I chose to use these leaf die cuts because I think they look so beautiful with that copper ore paper. This copper ore paper was really screaming fall to me. So I kept this card pretty simple and just added this big leaf on there. And that's really all it needed. It was so pretty just on its own. I added a few sequins and called it good. For this second leaf card, I used some StazOn to kind of distress that paper. And I went around the edge of every paper on this card, as well as those little wood laser cut pieces, and just gave a little distressed and darker brown look to all of the pieces. I used the dark brown StazOn. So this piece here is a textured piece that I ran through the embossing folder, just regular cardstock, and you don't see a whole lot of it, but I think that it really makes a nice impact with all of the layers going on in this card. That top leaf is on foam tape, and then I was able to stick this wooden leaf underneath it, and it layered up real nicely. So then I decided to play with some mixed media, and this was so fun. I'm loving all of our mixed media products, and the ore and pearl paper work beautifully with a lot of them. So here I have the Stickles glitter gel and the black ore paper, and I'm just putting it through one of our stencils, and I'm gonna end up keeping this card super simple. I'll show you the end product at the end, but here I just wanted to show you what the background looks like, and then I had to set it aside to dry, and I let it dry overnight, but look at this reveal. It's so pretty. So I love how the black ore pairs with the glitter paste, or the glitter gel. And then I worked with the texture paste. Now I grabbed probably not the best spatula to start. I liked the long skinny spatula because it evened everything out better. And that's what I switched to here. It really helped to get a more even layer of the texture paste, because that texture paste was a little bit tricky to get even, at least on this medium. Then I tried our new gloss sprays, and I really wasn't sure how they would work, if they would stay on this paper or not, but they did work beautifully. So I will show you that end product in just a bit.
All right, so let's take a closer look at the cards we created today. Here are the two that I used, the copper and black ore paper with the background die, and I think they turned out so cool. So this is the one where I cut off the ruffle edge, and then I layered it with a little vellum and the Kraft. And so I wanted the Kraft to peek through, but a more subtle version, because the copper on the Kraft I didn't like just by itself, but by putting that vellum in between it, it really softened it, and I like the look of it. So we've got the pearl paper on the base of the thanks, and then thanks is with the black ore paper. And then this one is the black ore paper, pearl paper, and then we've got that bluebell glitter paper really making a statement with it. They pair so nicely together. All right, and then we moved on to this heart background die. And similar to yesterday, I showed you ways to use the die and all of the heart pieces to inlay. So we're doing 2 cards today, and I wanted to add some dimension to these. So this one I turned into a shaker card. So I added the bluebell sequins in there. The base is this pink from the Lovely. So all of these pink hearts are just the base showing through. And then the floral paper from Lovely is in some of the hearts that I inlaid in there. And then there's also some wood grain pattern. And I didn't like the wood grain pattern on its own as an overlay, because you could see the lines from those wood planks on the paper, and I didn't like that look. But I did end up using it, well, some of the hearts from it in here. Now this one, I layered up 3 of the heart die cuts. So I cut 2, actually there's 4 layers. So I cut 2 out of white cardstock, and I just have a whole bunch of white hearts left over. I have this out of the Lovely paper that's showing from when I used these, and then that wood grain pattern is layered up in here too. So there's actually 4 layers to add some dimension. And instead of making it a shaker card, I just added some sequins scattered throughout. I got this trick from my friend Miss Carrie. She created sort of a faux shaker card, and I thought that was fun. So you don't have the acetate, and you don't have to mess with the foam tape and all of that, and but you still get that sprinkling of the sequins, and it looks really cool. And you've got that dimension from layering up all of your die cuts. All right, so then I got into fall mode, and I just love these leaves cut out of the copper ore paper. So this was my first one, and it's fairly simple, but it's not. So we still have a lot going on. We've got this beautiful leaf, which is the statement with the beautiful ore paper. we've got the stitched rectangle, so it has that nice stitched detail around it, but you've also got the embossed background. So I ran it through the embossing folder, then I ran it through the stitched rectangle die, and this background is from the Bloom with Grace collection, and I thought just keeping it very neutral was a really nice look. And then the sequins are from the Rose Gold Sequin collection, which is retired, but I pulled out a few of the colors that I liked. And this stamp set is from this set here, which is an upcoming stamp of the month. I believe it's December. So the Be Your Own Beautiful, and there's some beautiful flowers on there. And so it says be your own kind of, and then you open it up and it says beautiful inside. And I thought that was a really fitting sentiment to put with the leaf, because every leaf is unique, just like every flower. And then this one has the distressed copper ori leaves on there, and I did distressing around everything in that big bow from my stash. I really like the addition of the wood shapes to add that rustic element along with this twine. And you know, there's a lot of layers, but each one just really packs its own punch. So you've got the copper ore background to tie all of this together, and then you've got that little bit of texture from the embossing folder peeking through, and it just adds so much. So that was a really fun card, and I just left that blank. And finally, I played with the mixed media. So here's how that Stickles glitter gel card turned out. It works wonderfully on the ore paper. And so I left this very simple. I did mount it onto the gold foil. Of course, cut the inside out so we're not wasting that. And I just let this beautiful stencil be the statement. I just put a sentiment right on there, backed with that same gold foil paper. It's on 3D foam, thin 3D foam, and then this is on foam as well. So really like how that turned out. And this one turned out much different than I had in my head when I started. That's always so fun when you start something and you really don't know the direction that you're going to end up. And I really, really love how this turned out. And you know, there's a lot going on in the background, but I kept it very clean and simple as far as what I added to it on top, and really let that background shine as well. So those are two very technique driven, but also clean and simple designed cards. And then I didn't make a card out of this, but just wanted to show you how it turned out. So there's that pearl paper. You could add more sprays on top and just go crazy, but it does work very well. It's not going to rub off, and it's just a really fun look using those gloss sprays on the ore paper or the pearl paper. It didn't show up very well on the black, so it's better to use on the white. I found once it dried, it you couldn't see it as well on the darker colors.
That's going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed these cards and techniques and learned some things. Be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow. My last video in the series, video 5, will cover all of the specialty papers again and using them in more subtle ways. Thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.